glasses. Thank you.
Good morning. Come over for breakfast in the 4-H booth and on stadium floor 34, and this is what we have. Feast your eyes on this mouth-watering menu. Breakfast burritos, breakfast sandwiches, biscuits and gravy, cinnamon rolls, donuts, and lots to drink, like coffee, water, Gatorade, and soda. Come visit us. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the 2024 Montgomery County Fair. Our judge today is Doug Glasser from Blacksburg, Iowa. Our superintendents are Tanner Allensworth and Don Nippert. Please give them a round of applause for all of their hard work. Our first class today is, our first person in the ring is AJ Beeson.
Okay, it's a beautiful day for a goat show, or actually any kind of show. You have wonderful facilities here, and it's nice and cool. When I first came in the barn, there were some hogs that were just really excited and jumping around, so I think we're going to have a nice day for a show. And I'm not disappointed in my first class, or even though we only have one. We have a little doe that stands very correct on a nice set of feet and legs. You really have to appreciate the bone and muscle that she carries, the width that she has in the rear set of her legs, the width that she carries in the chest floor, and then the cleanliness that she has as she comes on up to that chin. She shows extension in the neck, refinement in the head. When you handle her out over the top, she's really a solid, explosive doe that is just really chock full of muscle. She shows me a lot of length and depth in that loin area, levelness from hooks to pins. Just a really pretty fancy little doe to win this for you. Give him a big round of applause.
AJ Beeson is receiving purple, and our next class of junior does from 6 months to 1 year will be Lauren Jewell.
Okay, we only had one entry in this class. We have a little building that stands on a correct set of feet and legs. Building that shows length out of that body, refinement in that head and neck. She's just not quite as explosive as the doe that was ahead of her in this other class, but certainly a doe that has a lot of potential for this young lady. We're going to go ahead and give her a blue ribbon. Give her a big round of applause.
In that class is Lauren Jewell, receiving a blue. In the next class of junior does from 1 to 2 years will be Tyler Mason, Chloe Bruce, Adelia Lyden. Addie Lyden.
Yeah, that's okay. Perfect.
Okay, we're going to start with the dough that just shows us a little more balance, a little more completeness throughout. When you analyze this dough, she starts in that chest floor with a lot of width. She's got a great forearm for me. She shows extension in that neck, refinement in that head. And then when you handle her out over the top, she's just really explosive in her pattern and her design and how much muscle she's carrying on that top. The length and depth of her loin is amazing. A dough that shows me a lot of fullness into that flank. Very three-dimensional, really wide in her rear stance. She's a little bit deeper in the twist. Just a really, really nice dough to win this class for you. My dough in second follows are very close in type and kind. Again, you really appreciate the extension that she carries in her neck, the width in her chest floor, the levelness out over the top, and the amount of muscling and excitement that she has over that top. As far as length and depth of loin, she just gives up a smidge to the dough ahead of her for that reason. My polka dot dough, when she first came in, me and I just kind of fell in love with her. She's really correct on her feet and legs. A dough that's really big and bold and massive. But when you get your hands on her, she's not quite as expressive out over that top. She wants to be just a little bit looser at the top of that shoulder, but certainly a nice dough. They'll all be worthy of blue ribbons.
In the last class, Addie Lyden received a purple, Chloe Bruce received a purple, and Tyler Beeson received a purple. In our next class of senior doughs, we're going to have AJ Beeson, Caden Brosal as another one, and Lauren Jewell. If AJ Beeson would have his class winner of the junior does ready to come back in, Laura Jewell have her class winner of the junior does ready, and Annie Lyden and Chloe Bruce have their junior does ready to come back in for the champion for doe. Thank you.
We're going to start this class with a doe that's really big and bold and powerful, a doe that's really well balanced and set herself together very nice, a doe with those legs just come up of her body like legs on a table, just really square for me. She shows the width in that chest floor, extension in that neck. She blends really smooth into the shoulder. She shows refinement in that head. She's really explosive when you get on top of her and handle her down that top and get into that loin, and the depth of the loin is just super amazing. She's really pulling to the flank for us, very correct set to her rear leg. She's got her where she's really standing uphill today, just a really nice profile of this doe. Just very phenotypically correct. My doe in second, she just gives up an overall stature and size and mass and expressional muscling for the doe ahead of her. She certainly has some good qualities as far as standing on a nice set of feet and legs. She's got a good spring of ribs, room and development. She's level out over the top. She's showing us a little bit of muscle on that inner thigh, but she's just not quite as powerful as the doe that was ahead of her. The doe in third, again, very similar to my second place doe, just not as much width in the chest floor, not as much mass out over the top, looks to fall off just a little bit sharper from which to pin, but again, a doe that shows some good characteristics. As we get into the fourth place doe, a doe that's just a little more frail in her makeup today, a doe that shows extension in that neck. She shows me that she's been productive and that she's had a kid, and that's probably what's pulling her down just a little bit. But she's just a lot sharper up over those withers and not as expressive down through that top. Give them all a great big round of applause.
Winner of that class was AJ Beeson, second, Caden Rosal, third, Caden Rosal, and fourth, Lauren Jewell. Coming in for champion Bordeaux will be AJ Beeson, Lauren Jewell, Addie Lyden, and AJ Beeson. The sponsor of our champion doe trophy today is Allensworth Heating and Cooling. We also want to thank Alec Thomas for helping in the ring today.
Okay, this is our champion drive for the does, and in the meat goat world, we're going to look for an animal that stands on a good set of feet legs, that's correct, that's fluid in their movement, corrects it to their rear leg, because they're going to have to live life for a while out in the pasture, move around, and we want them to be free to do that. We want them to be good and strong and sanctioned on that. And then we want to find a doe that shows us a great skeletal with width and dimensions. Then we want to find a doe that shows us elegance and refinement in that head and neck. Extended neck means that they're probably going to milk heavier. And so we want to look for that characteristic as well. And then we want to see animals that show us that three-dimensionalness, that maternal wedge, that fullness throughout. A doe that's really full into the flank and just that maternal wedge that we're looking for. And I think we've found a doe out here that meets all those qualifications. Actually, we've got several out here that meet the qualifications, but one that just is going to come to the top very rapidly for her extreme three-dimensionalness, her length of body, her depth of twist, her fullness into the flank, the extension that she carries in her neck, and the width that she has on the chest floor. And then she's just so explosive out over the top that I can't deny this stuff. And I like for my drives to be exciting, and in the cattle world, the judge goes out and slaps the steer or heifer on the hip, and when I did that, I got in trouble with PETA for that, so I can't do that. So then I went out and slapped the kid, and I got in trouble for that, so I'll just go out and shake your hand. How about that?
Champion Bordeaux will be AJ Beeson. Congratulations. Now we're going to bring in Caitlin Rosal for reserve.
Okay, you can boo the judge. Normally my reserve class winners are already out here while I'm in my drives. And so since there weren't any here, just in my mind I forgot that I had some reserves. So we had to bring back in the reserve from the senior class. But I'm still going to use the yearling belt. She's still going to be your reserve champion.
Reserve goes to Adam Lyden. Congratulations. Again, champion Bordeaux was AJ Beeson. Reserve champion was Addie Lyden. Champion Bordeaux trophy was sponsored by Allen's Heating and Cooling. Let's put our hands together for those. Thank you. Our next class will be breeding buck under 1 year, and that will be Lauren Jewell.
Okay, we only had one entry in this division of the buck class. We have a little red buck that's solid in its pattern and its style. It stands correct on a nice set of feet and legs for me. Shows me some length of body, spring of rib, depth in that flank area. He's got great scrotal development for his day of age. He's showing us some width between the eye, width between the horns. And so he'll be a blue ribbon buck for you. Give her a big round of applause.
Our champion breeding buck goes to Lauren Jewell. A trophy is sponsored by Bruce Supplies Construction. Let's give a round of applause for our sponsors. Thank you. Our next class will be other breed does. Be Lauren Jewell, Grace Snippert, and Grace Snippert.
Okay, in this other breeds class, these aren't full-blood boar meat type goats. They have another influence, and we have some that have Nigerian dwarf influence, and some that we're not sure what the influence is. But we're going to start with this little, I'm going to call her traditional doe. She does have just the better rib set when you handle her over the top. She shows me more length of hip and depth of loin than some of the does behind her. And she shows extension in that neck. Stands on a great set of legs for me. Just a really nice doe. My doe in second follows her close and type is kind. She just gives up when you get up over the top of that withers. She's just a little sharper in that wither. She wants to fall off a little sharper from hooks to pins, but a nice little doe. And then the doe in third follows the second place doe very close in type and kind because they're twins, and so that only makes sense. But again, she doesn't carry as much strength and boldness out over the top for her to move any higher in the class. And then when we get down to the fourth place goat, the goat that's just a little sharper over those withers, just not carrying as much condition and style as the does ahead of her, and so that pulled her down into fourth. Give them all a big round of applause.
In the ring, we're going to need AJ Pieces, Maddie Lyden, Grace Snipper, and Grace Snipper for Grand Champion Breeding Goat and Reserve Champion Breeding Goat. In that class, Grace Snipper has Grand Champion Other Breed Doe and Reserve Champion Other Breed Doe. Champion Other Breed Doe sponsor is Harlan and Wanda Johnson. If we can give a round of applause, please.
Okay, this drive is for champion overall breeding goat. And so we've got the does involved, the buck involved, and then the other type breeding goats. Since he moved up, you have to move up. We're gonna tie him up so he can't keep moving up. Okay? But having said that, we're gonna find that breeding animal that is most phenotypically correct, the breeding animal that, again, is gonna stand on a good set of feet and legs for me, breeding animal that's gonna show a lot of three-dimensionalness, gonna show me some width in that chest floor, extension in the neck, levelness out over the top, and really well set in that rear leg, because sometimes we forget about that, and we're sometimes get these goats too posty-legged, and a goat's natural ability is to stand on those back legs and browse. And so we need to keep that current. We need to make sure they have that nice, correct set to their leg. Having said that, I'll go out and select your grand champion.
Grand champion breeding goat goes to A.J. Beeson. Reserve grand champion goes to Addie Lyden. Grand champion breeding goat sponsor is State Farm, Dave Carbaugh, and reserve grand champion sponsor is the Rural Commerce Committee. Thank you. At this time, they're going to take pictures of the champion. And also, I've heard that the Queen candidates are going to do a goat impression. It's a tradition.
If you are sponsoring one of the awards for the breeding goats, please come over to the photo backdrop to begin your photo.
Also, as soon as you are done with pictures, if you're showing a market goat, please head to the ring. That would be A.J. Beeson, Lauren Jewell, Grace Nippert, Tyler Beeson. In the ring now, we have home raised market goats, Lauren Jewell and AJ Beeson. In the next class, we want to head up is Lauren Jewell, AJ Beeson, and Grace Nippert.
Okay. We're going to start with the traditional weather. He's just chock full of meat for me. He shows definition and muscle in that foreleg. When you're handling down over the top, he's just really exciting. When you get to the top of that shoulder, he's got this beautiful rib design. It comes right on back into a really full hip, and then that displays the length and depth that it carries out on the top in his loin area. When you're handling down on the inside leg, he's showing me some muscle on that inner thigh and down into the stifle. This young man's really setting him up and showing him to his best potential, and so he'll be your first place weather. The weather in second, a weather that's just lighter in his makeup and his design. He's a lot sharper over that wither, and so when you go down that back, he's not going to carry as much expression of muscling throughout. And when you get on that inside, he's not carrying that muscle on the inner thigh and down into the stifle. But a weather that's going to be useful, just not as competitive today. Give him a big round of applause.
In that class, AJ Beeson received the blue and Lauren Jewell received the blue. Next class, AJ Beeson, Lauren Jewell, and Grace Nippert. Grace Nippert, if you'd like to head to the ring.
Okay, we're gonna start with a little red weather. He's just really complete and a nice little package for us. He's really solid in his build and his makeup. He's got great bone to muscle ratio. We really appreciate that. He showed me width in that chest floor, and then he's really expressive in his neck area. Sometimes we forget about the neck, but in the goat world, a lot of people consider the neck meat the sweetest meat, and so a lot of places they want as much neck as they can get. So he shows me length in that neck, levelness out over the top. When I handle him in that loin, he's showing me more length and depth of loin. He's showing us more muscle on that inner thigh and down into that stifle. Just a really nice weather to win this for you. My weather in second, we're going to grant stature to him. He's a taller weather, but you can't eat that air that's under him. So we want see a little more expressional muscling out over the top. But he really has a really long loin and a deep loin, so we really appreciate that. We'd just like to see a little more width to that top line, a little more muscle down that inner thigh, and then down into the stifle area. And then when we get to the polka dot, again, a weather that's just lighter in its frame and design. He's really sharp up over the withers, probably maybe some dairy influence there, but he just doesn't have the depth and length in the loin as well, and not as heavily muscled on that inner thigh. Give him all a great big round of applause.
In that class, AJ Beeson received the blue, Grace Snippert received the blue, Lauren Jewell received the blue. In the next class will be Grace Snippert. Also, AJ Beeson wants to have his goats ready for the champion drive. Tyler Beeson is a scratch.
We have a nice weather here that has a lot of good qualities. He showed me with that chest floor, expressional muscling in that foreleg. When you handle him out over the top, he starts with this really nice rib design and shape. He comes right on back into a full hip with a lot of length to that loin. He doesn't have as much depth as the loin, but he does have a lot of length. He's got a square hip when he's set in the way he should be, but he just doesn't have a lot of muscle on that inner thigh and down into that stifle. But he's certainly adequate in his muscling and his frame. And so she'll be receiving the blue ribbon. Give her a big round of applause.
In our last class of home raised goats, Grace Snippert received the blue. Now we'll have grand champion home raised, the AJ Beeson, AJ Bees will have another one, and then Grace Nippert. Grace Nippert will also have a reserve from class 2.
Okay, this is a muscle driven industry. We want to see that animal that's outperforming with muscle. So I want to see a wether that shows me a great rib design, comes back into a loin that's really deep and long, and then when you get to this animal, I want to see a twist that's a little bit deeper. That's going to exhibit a little more muscling. And then when you get it on that inner thigh and down to the stifle, I want to see a lot of power. And so I feel like there's one animal that exudes over the others out here. He's just really chock full of meat for his day-to-day. Might not be the oldest wether out here, but I think when he hangs on the rail, he'll yield the best.
Hampton Home Race Market Coat goes to AJ Beeson. Pulling in for reserve is Lauren Jewell. Reserve champion home race goat goes to AJ Beeson. Congratulations. Champion home race trophy is sponsored by Nancy Nelson. Now we'll move on to the purchase market goat. If we can have Chloe Bruce, Addie Lyden, and Natalie True head to the show ring, please. Also, if we can have Delaney True, Dalton True, and Garrett True head to the ring. We're going to take all of the photos at the end of the show.
Okay, girls, meet me on the other side. There you go. We want to see these remarkable weather. We got a weather out here that is just really, really smooth. He's smooth as Tennessee whiskey. He's just really nice weather that shows so much width in that chest floor. And then he shows so much clean up to that throat latch. He shows me expressional muscling in that foreleg. But what really is so powerful when you get down his top line, he starts with this super rib shape of design. He comes right on back into a really full hip. And then when you go from the hip, he wants to show